Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back again.
Welcome back. And in case you haven't checked out, do check out evolutionaryenergyarts.com. At the loving behest of our dear Ellie, we have ourselves a little bit more up-to-date website than what it's been in the past, and we do have more stuff planned for it.
We do.
Oh, there's so much planned, guys. There's just so much craziness in this world. This is our lovely family over at Patreon. Oh my God, we love you guys. Thank you, Patricia, our newest Patreon over. Again, at Patreon, you can get exclusives, usually multiple times a week, things that really only go up on Patreon.
Yes.
And some deep dives. So I wanted to share a secret. I'm going to share a secret with you.
That's no fair. Tell me.
I'll tell you too, but you already know this. So you ever see these different sculptures and paintings where the quote-unquote gods have so many hands and wonder, why do they have so many hands? Well, in case you wanted to know, Cindy's now going to tell you.
Well, it's they have different lives. These are different lives, and because you can see all the hands, they can see all their lives.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody's ever shared that in that way. But again, this is part of the reason why I just adore this person. Yes, that explains a lot. Like, so many people would be like, why do they have 4 hands? Why does this one have 6 hands or 8 or in this case hundreds? Again, because you must be born again. Yes, literally. Again and again and again, to go on the greater wheel, the big journey, the way of consciousness, which that is what we're talking about. And so when you see depictions like this, which, by the way, this is you could again view it as a god. There are gods and goddesses. We could call some of them enlightened beings. In the case of what we're talking about here, Avalokiteshvara, we're talking about a bodhisattva. What's that mean? It's again somebody that is self-realized, somebody that comes into the world not because they still have more karma to work out. No, they just simply come in because they have compassion for others and they want to help them on their journey.
And you can really tune into them, and they can be very, very helpful for you.
Yes, and we've been talking about the energy to hold in these times, especially as the world is going to be driven into the frenzy of war and maybe another plague upon the land and who knows what else. Hold compassion, because so many of the people on this planet, they still don't have a clue. They really don't have a clue. And they will say, well, there's only things that God's going to know, and who am I? I can never know these mysteries. Well, these aren't mysteries in some traditions, in some places around the world, and certainly in any time other than a Kali Yuga. The knowledge that we take on new bodies and the soul moves from life experience to life experience is just basic. It's like, counting. It's like spelling. I mean, it's so basic to what we would call a belief system, but it's more of a knowing system.
I like that. Just like how to use your arms and your legs, and how, you just know things. It's that instinct coming up full force.
Yes, absolutely. Oh man, and so many people, I do think it's out of maybe respect for the tradition that they're brought up in, that they won't look to other traditions. Maybe it's wanting to be respectful to their parents and then what their parents were brought up with. Maybe it's just that they're full of fear of exploring other possibilities and seeing how people in different parts of the world view different things. Well, this is one of the most popular bodhisattvas in the Buddhist pantheon. Buddhism can be viewed as a branch off of the Hindu roots And again, Hinduism, the term Sanitana Dharma we're going to go into, but you may have heard us bring that term up. Again, what we have is some knowledge that's just common and absolutely as basic gets. This is what we, in certain traditions, would teach kids, and we'd not really even have to teach them because the kids would know, because in some cases, they would even, as soon as you start talking about these things, they might have remembrances, especially if you start talking to them about these things before they're 5 to 8, when things start to cement into their psyche.
Mm-hmm. I think it's, that activation. It's that listening to the DNA, listening to the energy field, listening to the field in general, and incorporating that. And I think children are especially good at it because they haven't been taught that they can't.
So in Mahayana Buddhism, because Buddhism has also been factionalized, unfortunately, and when you look to Hinduism, there's as many branches of Hinduism as there are branches of trees in a forest. Literally. I mean, there's so many different ones. But one of the things that you'll find with Hinduism is that there's not necessarily as much exclusivity in some cases, a little bit more open-minded in some ways, but yet, it's up to the individual to put on whatever it is that fits you, and again, at any particular time. And you might find that studying Buddhism is something that really, really intrigues you. So when you look to Mahayana Buddhism, Avalokiteshvara is considered the earthly manifestation of Amitabha, which is the celestial Buddha of light and perception. And, again, there's different ways of looking at different beings depending on the tradition and even the part of the globe and the individual areas and countries in which we grow up. But a very, very revered being that has been foremost in my mind the last couple of days, and I think it's, again, the guides wanting to share that this is a being that could absolutely help to bring up the compassion within you. And this is what we do on Hearts OM channel and Hearts OM has 50 plus different mantra videos, and it's a resource. It's meant to be a resource that we will continue to add to. This is Quan Yin, and Quan Yin or Guan Yin. In many ways, I also view her as the embodiment of compassion. Just an amazing being full of love and light. And ultimately, we could say we're talking of extraterrestrials. I think in the case of Quan Yin, again, this is going back to a different age when benevolent ETs were here with us and, taught us the true ways of the universe, not slavery.
I think she really does embody that compassion. So she breathes, eats, sleeps, and it just oozes out her energy field, the compassion that she has for every living being in a balanced way.
I would say if you want to be snuggled into bed by your mom sort of feel, this is a good choice.
Very non-intimidating type of energy, a very welcoming energy. So even if you go to her with angst or issues or brokenness or embarrassment from maybe some things that you did in this life, she is simply going to work with you, and she's not going to judge you. So it's not about judgment. It's about, okay, how can we do this better? What is going to make you feel more fulfilled?
Absolutely. So another absolute beautiful being that you can call on, and in fact, millions of people do. And when you look at, again, Quan Yin, it's even thought, as it says here, Quan Yin is Avalokiteshvara's female aspect in China. So, when we see how some of the traits of some of these beings seem to come off, and be associated with others, yet they are also distinct entities in some ways, but then they are also blending. And this is, due to, again, in many ways, our own family tree of souls through many vast incarnations, and having, again, in many cases, higher selves that ultimately will trace back to the same root.
It's about what energy do you want to tap into, because we all have so many different personalities, a lot of it because of the way we grew up, or having to hide certain parts of ourselves and create another part of ourselves, and some people are more tapped into that than others. So if this is a being that you need in your life, you want to activate that DNA, because ultimately we all have a little bit of something interesting in us. So maybe even if it's not exactly Quan Yin, maybe it's a being that is close to her. But if you want to evoke that compassion, she would be the direction that you should point your energy to. That's what I would do.
Yes, feel very comfortable, and she is one of our main guides. And I've been feeling the urge to, put my attention there a lot more, because these times are going to be challenging our anger as we understand what's going on in the bigger scheme of things, and how it's all really very, very preventable in some ways. And we've done a video, again, giving a mantra, and there are many mantras, and you can see what resonates with you. Maybe we should go through and add a bunch of new ones again to the list, but the one that I do is Quan Yin Pusa Namo. Quan Yin Pusa Namo.
Quan Yin Pusa Namo.
Yes, absolutely. When you look to this too, this article right here will say that in China, originally Quan Yin was thought of as masculine, and turned feminine. Again, you can trace down different things from different areas, and yet there's this energy stream. When we get up to fifth, sixth density, people don't have kids the way we do. So, what exactly is masculine and what is feminine? Yes, there is that flow of energy. And again, within the yin is the yang, and within the yang is the yin.
It's beautiful.
Yes, life is all about balancing opposites. The Sanitana Dharma, the eternal ideal way of life. Well, what is the ideal way of life? And when you see this term, one of the things that hit me way back when I was about 18, I want to say, was how similar the word was to Satan. Sanitana, so wait a minute, you could get Satan out of there pretty quick and easy, and in reality, when you look at the system, as I look at a beautiful deer walking right in front of the window here right now, which I forgot to put the corn out, and it's getting later. Yes, we always love to take care of the animals, and it's like a regular zoo here, which is the way we like it, because again, all these are the children of the mother. And, when you call on the children of the mother, it's not just the animals that will come, also the elemental beings, which are very, very real and literally outnumber humans on the planet. So if there are truly, and I have my doubts, 8 billion Homo sapiens sapiens on the planet, there are more elemental beings than that. But I digress, because the Sanitana Dharma, to me, is what it means is, the eternal way, the eternal path. It is the truth of how things really, really are. There's a lot of different ways we can look at it, and Dharma is something that Cindy comes across all the time in doing Vedic astrology.
Well, people want to know, what is my Dharma? And there's several different ways to find that out in the chart, and there's some ways, you look at it as, okay, this is your dominant Dharma. So, and then there's actual ones under that. But there is a particular position in a chart, and someone, if you look at that Dharma and someone's asking, what is my Dharma? This one's very, very difficult because you're not going to get an answer. And what you have to do to release that karma of the desire of wanting to know your Dharma, is you have to stop and look and see what's right in front of you right now. That is your Dharma. And it's a very kind of difficult position to put a person in. But there are ways to work around it so that you can see clearly what's beyond that. Because there is a Dharma beyond that, but the way to get there is you have to look right in front of you and do what you're doing.
Yeah, Eckhart Tolle, has done great videos where it's like, what's my purpose? Why am I here? Yeah, your purpose is to be. And again, this is the truth. So it's not that, and Eckhart is very insightful, but this is the Sanitana Dharma. This is also the Tao. What's the Tao? The Tao is the natural way of the universe, right? It is the way things are, the way, the path, and you could start to make it more dogmatic. But when we look at it, what is truly the natural order of things? The Tao is the Chinese term for the infinite, absolute order of the universe. It cannot be defined. As soon as you define it, as soon as you label it, that's not it, because it's beyond all concepts. It includes, but is not limited by every possible concept. It is everything that's manifest, but it's also everything that hasn't been manifest yet, or maybe is not in manifestation now, but was, or maybe will be. Again, it is something that is beyond description. We could attempt to describe, and we could get parts of it, but you can never get the whole.
No, it's very difficult to get the whole because it exists on more than one dimension.
As do we, and that's just the very simple truth. So here you look to the eternal, natural way of the Sanitana Dharma. So aren't they talking about the same thing? Now, within Hindu, as I'm looking at Vishnu, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavites, Shaivites, then you have Shaktyites too. I mean, we get down into all the kind of the dogmatic principles start to take hold, and those people that gravitate more towards Vishnu as creator, those that gravitate more towards Shiva, or can resonate with Shiva more, or maybe the goddess in general. Again, it's more like flavors, and that's what we have to realize. Are you in the mood for strawberry, chocolate? Maybe you're in the mood vanilla, or maybe you're in the mood for something even more exotic. It's okay to sample the ice cream, and it's okay to experiment with different belief systems and see how they fit you and what parts of it do fit you.
And I know, food is like one of the best things that we have when we're here on this 3D realm. It always just is so yummy. It's so yummy, and you can have so many different things. And I've noticed in my dreams, I don't taste. I think I have tasted sweetness once in one of my dreams. But in general, you don't taste.
Well, it's the remembrance, because, this is why we're here. It's not that we're just here for pizza and ice cream, but that is a big part of it in some ways, having that more heavy sensual experience, because when we go up in frequency, we can also manifest much quicker. You want something, boom, it's there. You want to go somewhere, you think of it, boom, you're there. You will find yourself flying, literally. And this is a much more normal way that we live most of the time. This is something to be cherished, even though it's going to be challenging at times, because it is very heavy, dense, and slow moving. Yet it offers us new and different experiences.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them.
So I wanted to share these concepts with you. And again, so much of everything, as seems to be the tendency in this world, kind of gets twisted, kind of gets distorted. Like if you could translate it loosely as eternal religion, I wouldn't use that religion word, because religion comes with a set of doctrines. And now the eternal truth is that ultimately Ultimately, there is a oneness, and we are all part of one consciousness that is exploring things in just every single different possible way. How about this? Today, a young man on acid realized that all matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration, that we are all one consciousness, experiencing itself subjectively. There is no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we're the imagination of ourselves. By the way, here's Tom with the weather. That was Bill Hicks, a comedian. And yet Bill Hicks, his energy is the same as you know who. Ah, yes. It is all actors. It's all actors for you.
They enjoy it.
They enjoy it. So, we roll with the punches. Keep levity in your heart. It might seem that we're trapped in this cage and we just got to get out of here. But wait a minute. We're here for just a short while. We are here to enjoy it and to experience the fullness of it. And then to grow from it, to learn, grow. And we could always revisit it again at any time.
Indeed.
As always, guys, much love. Like, share, subscribe. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.